They say the journey of a man begins not as a believer but as an observer, and after observing and understanding, he becomes a believer. And when the person becomes a true believer, the Lord Almighty will do everything He can to keep his belief from being corrupted. While the people who do believe but then become corrupted and refuse to accept the same belief again, Almighty Allah will just lead them astray because He understands that they are beyond understanding and will lead them more astray. But those who truly believe, Allah will not let them become astray. He will always guide them to the right path. For me, it became something like that. One day, on Friday, I didn't know it was Friday. I was walking. I was walking to my friend's house. When I was walking to my friend's house, it was a very long walk, so I had plenty of time to think on the road. And I was just thinking, but then when I reached my friend's house, I saw that my friend was not there. His house was shut. So I couldn't get inside. So I decided that let's go back. While going back, I was constantly thinking to myself that what happened? Why did my friend didn't just call me or told me that he wasn't there? I was confused, but at the same time also very upset that why I couldn't get a chance to see him. As I walked and walked, suddenly there was a sudden feeling. It's almost like my heart was being called or being pulled to a particular direction. When I was walking and almost halfway to my back home, I noticed something, a strange force. I don't know what it was, but it was calling to me, telling me, come, come to me. It felt like someone grabbed my heart and was pulling me. I didn't know what it was, but it felt like someone was pulling my chest, pulling my heart, but in a very soft and gentle way. And then I was thinking to myself, what day is it? What day is it? But then as I walked and walked, I realized that it was a mosque nearby. And the mosque was calling to me, telling me to pray. And then it hit me. It was Friday and I completely forgot. I didn't know what to do. I was not wearing the proper clothes of Friday prayer. But that time it was already 12:30 p.m. and I didn't have time to think. So I was constantly thinking that we should just go home and then pray in nearby mosque over there, and then change my clothes, or just change my clothes and then come here. I was confused. But then I felt like the mosque was just telling me, just come, come. And it felt like he was grabbing my hand and telling me, come, please come. At that point, when I went inside, I just went to the ablution site, did my ablution, and then after a while doing it, I was constantly saying to myself, am I pure? Am I pure? Is my body clean? Is my clothes clean? I don't know. Maybe I should just go back. I should go back. But as I was doing the ablution, I just calmed my nerves and I just said that it's pointless. I reached the mosque. I'm here. I'm doing my ablution. There's nothing more to do and nothing less to do. So I kept going and I decided to stay inside. After staying inside, when the main Imam came inside, he was telling, he started talking and he started telling a lecture which I really liked. He told about the serious problems of modern day issues, and every word he said was something I really liked. The first thing he said was about the people who has very amount of wealth and importance and a lot of work to do. So when they die, Almighty Allah will ask them that what prevented you from worshipping me. And if they say that they have too much work on their hands and they didn't have much time to pray, Almighty Allah will call Sulaiman Islam and Dawud Islam, and he will ask them that, didn't I give you all the lands and all the riches in the entire world? And they will say, yes Allah, yes indeed. Then Allah will say, then did you pray to me or not? They said, yes, we of course we did pray. We spared time to prayer. And then Allah will tell to his servants that if they could afford time after I given them the whole world, why couldn't you afford time when I give you a small amount of land in a small country in a small place? and you cannot afford to get time to pray to me, to worship me. Get out of my sight. And then another type of people, people who are sick, who can't pray, or who have sickness and refuse to pray, when they will come in front of me and come to Allah, and then Allah will ask them, they prevented you from praying. And if they say that, oh Allah, we were injured, we were hurt, we couldn't able to do it, we were sick, we couldn't just pray we worship you. Almighty Allah will call upon the Prophet, ne, ne, Prophet, one who has suffered the most, John, and he will call upon him, and he will tell him, didn't I give you all the sickness in the world? And didn't I rotted away your body's muscles, your skin, and every part except your tongue? And the Prophet will say, yes, indeed, Allah, you did. Did you not worship me, praise me? Say, yes, Allah, I did. To my last point, my last energy of my body, and only thing that is working my tongue, I still worship you and praised you, even when every part of my body was completely gone and decaying. So Allah will tell to the word servants, didn't if he can do it with so much, why couldn't you do it? Get out of my sight. And then he will ask about people who have way too much children and too much work on their hands. When he will when they will come to front of Allah, Allah will ask them that, why prevented you from praying? And they will say, if they say that, we had too much children on our hands, we cannot afford time to worship, he will call upon the Habul al-Islam, and he will ask him, didn't I give you so many children, the highest amount of children than any other? And they'll say, yes, Allah, you did. You gave me 9 children, and I had to take care of each and one of them. And did you not praise me? Yes, Allah, I did spare time to praise you every day of my life. Then Allah will tell to them, if he can do it with 9 children on his shoulders to take care of, why couldn't you? Get out of my sight. And then the last advice which the Imam gave was about women. He told him that if a woman comes to the Almighty Allah and he asks them that, why prevented you from praising me? If they say, oh Allah, my husband was abusive, I couldn't get the time or the place to worship you and praise you, then he will bring Aisha radiyallahu anha, the Pharaoh's wife, and he will ask her, didn't your husband was the worst person to ever face the earth, and didn't he torture you and abused you every time you praise me? Did you praise me not? Yes, praise me not? Yes or no? And Aisha will say, yes, Allah. Even when my husband was the most abusive person on the earth, and he beaten me and scolded me and tortured me every time I praised you, I still praised you in secret as much as I could, and I never skipped a single day, because I knew who you are and I was worthy of worshipping you and praising you. Then he will tell to his servants, if she can do it after having the most horrible person on the face of the earth to and praise me, why couldn't you? Get out of my sight. After hearing all of this, I felt a sense of calm, a sense of peace in my heart, knowing that Allah will ask in such a very justice and very serious kind of way. So I felt a peace in my heart after knowing such cool and amazing advice. I then started praying, and I prayed to Allah that, thank you Allah for calling me here, because I finally understood that you cannot and will not let any of your true believers astray. You will always call out to them. No matter how much they lose their way, you will never let them be completely lost. You will always guide them to the right path, because you value them. Even though the world will not value, you will value them. So after my prayer was finished, I thanked Allah for calling me here, and I left the mosque feeling a sense of calm and peace and valued by the Lord Almighty.